亲爱的上人、金石师父, Brother Joe, brothers and sisters online, a very good evening to everyone. 感恩 for this opportunity to share, and today I'll be talking about this my limited understanding, interpretations from these 4 realizations from Sutra of 8 realizations. From a limited understanding, I'm very grateful to Venerable Aniruddha, one of Buddha's best top 10 disciples, who is foremost in the divine sights, divine visions. For this Venerable asked Buddha to give a sermon on how to attain enlightenment and nirvana. Buddha very compassionately spoke of these 8 methods, which is these 8 realizations, where the Bodhisattva could apply to attain enlightenment. After Venerable has heard these methods, he constantly reflected on them, and finally he could realize the truth of human's life and discovered the path to enlightenment. Therefore, very grateful to Venerable for starting this, for allowing the opportunity, the affinity to hear Sutra of 8 realizations. In the past, we have heard from Brother Chin's on the first realizations that the world is impermanent, the earth is perilously fragile, temporary unions of the 4 elements, the earth, water, wind, and the earth, water, air, and wind, they are filled with suffering and are empty in nature. There is no self, only the 5 aggregates. Actually, the first realizations we heard often, especially lately because of the COVID and many disasters. The second realizations, which Brother Jeff has shared with us, that desires leads to suffering. The excessive desires, imbalance, exhaustions from this cyclic existence arises from greed and desires. One who has fewer desires and they can remain uncontriving, they are at peace in their body and mind. The third realization, very kind to Sister Suisan, who shared last Friday, that the mind is always seeking, thirsty for more. It's always in hunger, compounding evil. Bodhisattva renounce such conducts. They remain content, at peace with poverty. They follow the path, their actions guided by wisdom alone. Because of all this, the realizations from the first 3, the 4th realizations is how to escape all this. The diligence parts that will come in. There are 2 parts that I've learned, which is the first part, indolence leads to one's downfall and one must always practice with diligence. Second part will be one must vanquish all afflictions, overcome the 4 demons, and escape the prisons of skandhas. Let us go into the first part, which is indolence leads to one downfall. One must always practice with diligence. Okay, in fact, actually this is diligence. I think I'm sure everyone is aware. Like when we are as a students, to get good results, definitely we have to put in extra work. Else, how to get good work? When it comes to working, to get good recognitions, definitely have to put in effort. Since young, we heard of this tortoise and rabbit stories, right? So I also share with my children. My daughter also asked me, is that true? Really, tortoise will be slower than rabbit? Let us see this real recording.
इसकी कहानी तो जरूर सुनी होगी या पढ़ी होगी। हम सभी जानते हैं कि कैसे कछुए ने खरगोश को रेस में मार दी, कि कैसे खरगोश पहले रेस में बहुत तेज दौड़ने के बाद आगे जाकर सो जाता है और कछुआ धीरे धीरे अपनी दौड़ को जारी रखते हुए आखिर में रेस जीत जाता है। ये तो बात हुई एक कहानी की, लेकिन क्या रियल लाइफ में ऐसा संभव है? जी हाँ, ये कहानी सच साबित हुई है। आपको जो वीडियो आपकी स्क्रीन पर आप देख रहे हैं,
so definitely there's no doubt. We must continue to be diligent. Indolence leads to one's downfall. Look at the tortoise, the rabbit, despite leading the way, but still he lost the race. So one must always practice with diligence. Diligence is one thing, but we must be able to make sure we walk the right path. If the path is deviated, even if it's slightly off, it will lead to an inescapable downfall. Just look at the train. Just because it wavered a bit from the track, it will collapse and go inside the drain. We earlier heard of this Dharma Master Tijia stories. He was once he was lost in the mountain. He has this map, but despite having a map, he could not find the right direction. Why? Because later he found a local, and the local pointed out to him that he read the map wrongly, the other way. So in fact, even if we have the sutra imagined today, if we do not have the right masters to guide us, what will happen? So we are very grateful for today. Not only we have this body to be able to cultivate, we could also have the opportunity to listen to Buddha Dharma, and more so we could have this great Sangren master to guide us along the way. As what Empress Wu has spoken, the Dharma is deep and profound. Rare is the opportunity to encounter it. Now that I have the chance to learn and practice it, I vow to realize its true meaning, and we are more cherishing, we should be more. Because we not only that, we have master to guide us. Even though we are away 2,500 years from Buddha, but we have a great master to guide us. Master at Wisdom at Dawn on 14th of January 2020 mentioned how rare and how difficult it is for us to encounter Dharma and to learn it. Just like a blind eye tortoise floating in the vast sea, to be able to find a plank that it can put its head into it. There's a hole just nicely to fit its head. That is truly rare, right? In the vast old sea, how to find this wood, this plank, and with a hole that he can breathe at least. In fact, we have heard of the story in Buddha stories, right? City of India, now 90,000 population, out of that only 1/3 knows of Buddha and 1/3 heard of Buddha, yet 1/3 never see or hear Buddha. Another analogy, like the blossoming Udumbara flowers, we heard it could only blossom in long time, and when it blossomed, it only blossomed in a fleeting moment. Imagine once we didn't see it, that's it, there goes the blossoming, we will miss it. Such a rare opportunity. And it's also another analogy is like this arrow, trying to shoot arrow into its opening. The opening of what? The tiny pores, 0.01 size of hair follicle. Such is so difficult. Another one is this, the mentioning of 180 kalpas passed before Sakyamuni Buddha appeared. After Sakyamuni Buddha has appeared and left, entered Parinirvana, we need to wait for another 5,670,000 years before the future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha, could appear in Sahawa. Such is the cherishedness we must have for this great teaching. We also understand, Master also mentioned, more importantly, chanting is one thing, but more importantly, to put the verses into actions, not merely going to temple and worship the Buddha, chanting the Buddha's name. We need to Buddha constantly needed to encourage people. That's why Buddha would ask us to uphold, read, recite, explain, cultivate it. More importantly, it's the mindset. If it is not right, even if we keep reading and chanting it, we still could not be transformed. So it is important not only to read, recite, we must use it and apply in daily life. There are some good stories in this chapter. One of it is about this man with worldly intelligence. This young man, he was educated, raised by the single father. When he had this law degree, when he reached 37 years old, until 37 years, he couldn't find a job, and the old father, he was 70 years old already, he couldn't take it any longer, so the father stopped subsidizing him. And guess what this person with law degree do? He used his law degree, what he learned, to sue his father or cutting off his financial support. Such the acting of this man. At the end, the court, but imagine that the court ruled that the father had to continue supporting his son, 70 years old father, because this son has the worldly cleverness. What's the true fairness before the law? That's what Master mentioned in this sutra. Such an example, the indolence leads to one downfall. Another, the opposites of this indolence, Master mentioned in the book. There's this Mr. Chang in Tainan, suffering from polio. Despite them, he is very strong. He's very hardworking and independent. He did not ask for the government aid. He went daily selling chewing gum, rain or shine. Even though he is disabled, but definitely the mind is not hindered. He went out to help people. He served as a volunteer. Another story which we heard recently in Morning Wisdom at Dawn, from this Myanmar. This young man, he decided to help people. And he has polio also. So he grabs this, daily he would donate this ipami, 1 fistful rice, because he has this polio, so he doesn't have much energy in his hand. With this fistful grabs of the rice to put in the rice bag, the donors, the volunteers would encourage him and tell him that this effort of grasping this 1 fistful rice is as huge as Mount Sumeru. Such the merits and his great diligence and sincerity into helping people. Despite the handicap, he is not hindered. we also hear often of our very diligent volunteers in South Africa. This is one of it. I couldn't find. The earlier one, there were so many of these stories about this diligence of great diligence of our African families. They will, during the diligence day on 5th, I think 3rd of May this year. How do they join the diligence class? For us, it's very easy. Despite having lockdown, we still could, with a press of finger, we could connect to Master Worldwide Global. But for them, they have to walk all the way to the center, more than 15 kms, 4 to 5 hours walking, yet it did not stop them. They keep on walking until it's very late. So they take a rest before the next day, then they can join others to hear the diligence class. Such the determinations, the great diligence as such, because of this great diligence and their sincerity, the Dharma could penetrate them. And we often heard for them each activity. Even I heard once from these sisters in Mozambique. She shared with me. She said, every day they will go for them. Most of the time they conduct home visits on big days. So before they go for home visits, they would go and do book study. They will take out Master Ching's aphorism or what they have learned the day. It's very simple. It's not like us. We'll go into chapters with many pages. They will go to very simple words and they will share Master's Dharma all joyfully. But most importantly, they could immediately ingrain Master's teachings in their heart. Part 2 on one must vanquish all afflictions, overcome the 4 maras, and escape the prisons of the skandhas. The first mara, there are these 2 other sutras that are mentioned by Masters. One is Buddha's teachings and the Sutra of 42 chapters. Inside this, inside these 2 sutras is mentioned is that in our heart, actually they are these 4 great teeth, which are the 4 maras. Okay, these 2 books. It's available in English. Please, it's really good book. Do buy it if possible. Okay, the first mara is mara of the 5 aggregates about these bodily form, feelings, perceptions, actions, and consciousness. Actually, in fact, everything is 一切为心造. It's all created. The maras is not really external. Most of the time, it's our internal self. We ourselves created, hindered ourselves most of the time. Okay, simply put, I saw this, found this in the internet. Hopefully, it's useful. Our senses, when we are in connection with the external world, created this consciousness. Our eye looking at something, I wish to buy it. Our smelling something, wow, this is good. I also wish to try it. Our taste. That's why it's very difficult to be vegetarian for some, because they are so used to the meat taste. It's very difficult for them to. That's why they say there were a few inches of sharp tongue control the whole body. All this becomes unfortunately, it becomes our hindering. It hinders us from practicing the sensations. The second mara, which is the mara of afflictions, afflicted views and thinking. When these are incorrect, it will cause harm to our family, countries, and society. I'm sure by now everyone will have heard of these Floyd stories in US, and it has and caused riots not only in that country but also spread to other countries. So now the harm is not only to the family but also spread to the country and other countries. And we also heard in US how there are discriminations, and sadly I also heard that people, in fact those educators, started to believe that this pandemic is caused by certain countries. So there is this such discriminations. It could actually, I don't know, to me I still couldn't believe that such could happen to a developed countries, people with much education. How could this happen? But such is possible when there is this afflictions of views and thinking. The third mara, King Mara of Heavens, control everything within these 3 realms. Imagine if one person started to cultivate, the persons who want to transcend this cyclic existence, transcend the 3 realms. What really are these 3 realms? The desire realm. I love this. I wish to possess. I want this. All this which causes much afflictions and suffering. The other 2 realms are the realms of forms and formless. So imagine if everyone starts to practice, they want to overcome these 3 realms and end the cycle of life and death. That's what King Mara's afraid the most, because it will lose its disciple, lose the descendants. So that's the most scary part for the King Mara. So that's why often people say when you started to cultivate, you will face a lot of challenges, because the King Mara will start to tempt you with a lot of external challenges. But most of the time is how do we face it? If we could use Master Dharma each time facing these challenges and taking it as a great lessons, then actually in fact everything is back to us. The Mara, if there is any, is because of our own mind. The fourth, which is the Mara of death. Some people think that the most important things in life, since life is so short, why don't we just go and indulge in pleasure? Often before, I must also repent, before I joined Tzu Chi, often I heard from people say, you work so hard to earn money and you have to take care of your family and the children are so young. You should reward yourself. If no one reward you, you should reward yourself. Go and buy bags of thousands of ringgit. Some actually nowadays bags some cost as much as a car. Sorry, because we are in Tzu Chi, sometimes we don't really understand how could people go to the extent. There's so many suffering in the world. Why don't people go and help them? Maybe not the whole car cost, just fractions of it. But anyway, that is another Mara. Because of the short term of life, so instead of practicing, people started to indulge. But actually really asking ourselves, I went through those periods, did I really enjoy? No, actually, in fact, it was more suffering. Traveling with friends to enjoy. End of the day, coming back, it didn't really solve the problem. For those who drink, maybe that instant, that short moment, people, when they are drunk, they forget their problems. But once they are awake, it will come back. So we know that those are not the solutions. So these poor souls wander aimlessly, lacking in diligence and failing to cherish every moment. In the book, we have one very good stories of Sister Jing Rong. Her story is also mentioned in Being at Peace. One heart and one resolve. With one heart and one resolve, Sister Jing Rong said, I have followed Master and I will follow the Buddha. She is not educated, but she's able to walk the path with steady steps. When she was hospitalized with Master, they were this conversation, so I put it here. So Masters, when she travels, she will come and visit these sisters from time to time, and Masters will ask her to let go. Then after traveling, Master found that she's still in the hospital. She said, yes, Master, you have instructed me to let go of all my attachment and follow my karmic conditions. When it's time to let go, I will go. So when it's time to return, I'll return. She's at peace and she knows what she's supposed to do, at peace with whatever. So at the hospital, she continued to serve, to volunteer around. She said, as long as I keep waking up, I will share about Tzu Chi with others. I'm seizing every moment. That's the spirits of a true cultivator. So Master will praise her and say, this is good. If you happen to fall into a longer sleep, when you wake up again, be a good child to your future parents. Sister Jing Rong assured Master, yes, I have prepared myself for that. I'm fully prepared. However, I keep waking up. So those were the times she was still awake, but she's still at very peaceful until the moment she passed away. Such is the liberations from the living and dying and coming in peace. All this is possible because of cultivation. Is it diligence? Actually, is mentioned in all the sutras. There is nothing there. Even if we have belief, deep faith in the teaching, if we aspire from learn, maybe during activity, we aspire to follow the Bodhisattva path and doing, even if we are not talking about spiritual cultivations, whatever we are doing, if we are not diligent, it's impossible we could achieve the purpose. So in this Sutra of Buddha's liquid teachings, under chapter 12, we have this part on diligence. Buddha said, Bhikkhus, if you are diligent, there's nothing will be difficult for you. It's like small and steady stream of water that comes over time. It can penetrate a rock. If we frequently allow our minds to be indolent, it is trying to kindle a fire by rubbing the sticks together. But we rest before there's even a heat. Imagine how could we even get the fire? Sutra of 42 chapters talking about the 20 difficulties to enlightenment. But even these difficulties, like difficult for the poor to give charitably, the rich to learn the path, to let go and face death. It's difficult to read the Buddhist Sutra. Difficult to be born in time of a Buddha. Difficult to control our sensual desires, difficult to see what pleases us and not pursue it, difficult not to become angry when facing insults, and all these difficulties. Actually, but diligence is the way to overcome all these challenges. Such is the great importance of being diligent. This sister SiewChing stories, she also reminded me of when I took this chapter. Immediately she reminded me, because the time when Master shared it, we could feel the unbearable sound in Master's voice. Sister from Dazhou, China, she get to know Tzu Chi because of this Sichuan earthquake. Imagine, actually she didn't stay in Sichuan. She heard of Tzu Chi activities there, helping people. So they all, group of them volunteer, group of elderly, actually that point of time they were elderly, 70s. They were average 70s years old. Imagine they are that age, elderly. So they are really sisters who are there. They have this group of sisters very close together. They will go from temple to pray. Such we could see they have this heart of sincerity. So they would need to travel 12 hours from their house to Sichuan. Walking through, this picture is her house outside, so you can see it's truly remote area. Dazhou is very remote. She has to walk all the way out, take the buses, transit the train before reaching Sichuan. 12 hours, imagine 12 hours just to get to Sichuan, but they do it constantly over 10 years until Tzu Chi Center at Sichuan is set up. Imagine that. But after that, this group of sisters during that time later, they decided to rent a house. So they will travel so far 12 hours because they know that otherwise it's impossible to return the same day. It will be 24 hours. It will be meaningless. So they would rent a house while waiting for this. Finally, the Tzu Chi Center was set up. During that time, what they did was, when the center was set up, they would volunteer as cooking, whatever activity, they will come together and attend Xinfa Xiang, whatever activities they can have, cleaning, cooking, diligent classes, whatever. They will be tour guide as well, explaining to people about these places, because they were the pioneer there. During the earthquake, they were already there helping. They are so truly diligent, and they will sing songs to remind themselves of Master, because Master is so far away from them. So how to remind themselves of Master? They will sing these songs to remind themselves. And this sister will even say, she said, I can't do big tasks for Masters. I could only do small things. Okay, it seems that we still have time to play a video. Very grateful to her. Okay, I'll try to, you start from this part. She will walk all the way.
不小心，生命停格在那
One
里，
day while walking, her life stopped
就
there.
在跌
She
落
fell down
那样
and
一条
passed
过
away peacefully. So that's why Master is so available.
这都是呢
He was
很
walking on the
遗
way
憾
to
的
Tzu
件
Chi site
事啊！ 相亲啊，相亲，大家都拢来，
even do
大
recycling
家
and
一
encourage
起
people there
做
to do
环保。
在慈济里面，我也学到了很多东西，怎么做人，
Imagine
怎么做事，
because she's staying in a remote area, if
是
there
不
is
是
no
这些
Tzu
享
Chi,
受吃喝玩乐？
imagine if there's no Tzu Chi, what would happen to this great Pusa? She'll be maybe just doing another day, living day by day in this remote area. I'm not sure, planting and going to temple to chant. But now her life is transformed because she knows that she can go move definitely very higher up. She's cultivated. She could create more and more good affinity with everyone who walked into Tzu Chi Center. She has helped many suffering during the Sichuan Dizen. So her life is like this precious pearl. Each pearl in this string, whichever side the string broke, the pearl is still very valuable. Else it will be like this morning dew drop. Each morning, do we realize the dew drop? Actually, frankly, if Master, I don't listen to Xinfa, I barely notice a dew drop. So we don't realize it. So it will be our life if we are not cultivated. It is not meaningful and purpose and not purposeful. We will just pass on like that. My sister SiangChing, because of her devotion and her diligence, imagine 10 over years doing this cultivation job. Her life is transformed. She is one of those precious pearls. So my contemplation during MCO time, very grateful actually. In fact, daily without fail, actually, I'm very grateful. In fact, more so after Master could resume the Xinfa Xiang. At times I still pinch myself whether it's true that Master is sharing. after chapter 20, actually I did not have this hope that Master could share, but I constantly pray that Master could continue to expound until the end, though I never dare to ask really openly for it, because we know how, the state of Master's health. So today, each day that Master could expound this chapter, each day I'm very, very grateful and very, very cherished. During this MCO moment, more so the cherishedness is there. If I do not, I imagine myself like Sister Xiang said, if I do not join Tzu Chi, what will happen to my MCO period? I'm sure we'll be lamenting and counting the day. When will this be up? And looking at the chart daily, there are so many deaths. Their hearts will move along with the death rate in the chart. But very kind, life is transformed because of Tzu Chi. There is this opportunity to do the dumpling to raise funds for the refugees. Very grateful because my house is near Jing Si Tang, so we could go to Jing Si Tang to make the face shield. But because after some time we are not even allowed to do it there, so we can bring it home to do. For those staying around Jing Si Tang, we have this opportunity to do face shield at home and live translation. As well as there's this picture. These two pictures, it has deep meaning for me. Maybe the one bottom with Sister Wan Chin. These two pictures actually reminded me of cultivations of both wisdom and compassion. The bottom of for wisdom. If I do not explain it, people may not realize that actually that point of time we were doing voiceover. Our first time doing voiceover for, my own experience is the first time doing voiceover. It's for Tzu Chi Tzu Chi International School, the first session with masters. It was a field session. Initially, there was no voiceover projected at YouTube. Actually, that point of time we knew already it was. But despite that, both of us were at peace and we were having much dharmic joy doing it. Such is to me, it's the wisdom, because transcending is emptiness, because there is no voiceover, but there is this wondrous existence. We will still put in our best effort. Both of us were on leave. Wondrous existence in true emptiness. The above was taken. Okay, sorry. Actually, I should be very much, because it happened just the first day of MCO. The day before that, I have these 3 cases, refugee cases, supposed to send them the balance 2 months aid. Knowing that it will be MCO the next day already, I successfully passed it to 2 refugees, except for the 3rd refugee really have this problem getting her. Call her 1 time, 2nd time, 19 times. Somehow I couldn't get her. Such is the affinity, or she couldn't understand. Each time she would put down my phone, I know she picked it up already, but she put down the phone. So that day I couldn't pass it to her. But the next day I couldn't bear it, so I got her address. Someone text me, send me messages of her address so I could find her. She couldn't understand English. We used to go to visit her with a translator. So, but that time COVID, there's no witness to translator. So I managed to see her, quickly pass her the money. She couldn't understand English. I couldn't understand what she was talking, and I have to take a photo as to show the proof that because there's no witness, so that she has taken the money. Before I leave the place, she just touched her forehead. Then I realized, I said, you sakit, fever. Then she nodded her head, she had having a fever. I did not tell anyone, because we are asked not to be in contact with people, especially those in fever. If I'm not in Tzu Chi, I'm not promoting that we should be visiting people in fever. We have to take great precaution. But because we are doing kindness, so we have to believe. We have to have the faith in us, the compassion, feeling the suffering of others. I hope that she has, I couldn't get her after that already, but I truly hope that she could use the money, the 2 months aid, and to seek the doctor's aid. During MCO time, I'm also very glad, and this year have the chance to be a Xie Li Zu Zhang, to learn to be a Xie Li Zu Zhang, which there's so much to learn in Tzu Chi. It is the most, I often share with people, MCO moment is the busiest moment, because I'm a working mother with 3 children. I have to cook. In the past, I don't have to cook lunch because I'm working. So the breakfast, I will make it very simple. I just pack morning breakfast. But during MCO, I have to cook 3 meals. And the kids are all at home. And on top of that, the Tzu Chi activities. But very grateful because we have this learning from Saturday Hualien, the connection with Hualien. So we use that we use that knowledge, and quickly we embark on 1:30 and 9 o'clock online prayers, and morning we could connect to Xin Fa Xiang. After that, we even have post Xin Fa Xiang. and a lot of activities. I remember the first Liani done during MCO period. It was very close bonding. We managed to get this doctor. He was working in a local general hospital, HQKM. He was at the hospital. He was at the epicenter, as what we say. They will call asking for help, but in between that, he will ask us Q&A, pose us a lot of questions to see our understanding of how to handle this COVID. And that day also we celebrated some volunteers' birthday, and there was this very touching moment. A volunteer in Singapore, she's there alone as a nurse, her family all here, so it was a surprise to her. Her family members sent her vicious birthday greetings through this online, even though we are not seeing face to face, but that does not mean there is lesser closeness, lesser warmth in us. And during this time also, everyone bonded closer because we know what each other is cooking. Oh, because this is the time for us to promote vegetarian. Master said this is the time for great lessons. We have to be more compassionate and advise everyone to stop killing. So I'm very grateful this time because of having this chance to get closer to all the people, the volunteers. We could have this chance to encourage them to do kindness, like wrapping dumpling. They will come, and they are very, very kind sisters. They told us their difficulties in getting mukwan for these refugees, and so we shared them the ideas of what some sisters have done. So the sisters started to emulate selling. One sister selling cakes, and another sister selling this curry puff. The sister curry puff sold curry puff. In fact, last year she sold cakes also to raise fund also. So they are inspiring each other. Like what Brother Joe said, creating the affinity and deepening the affinity and be the bridge. Because one sister has done it before, so we could share it with another sister, so each could be inspired. That's the role of the Bodhisattva, to inspire each other. Yeah, time is not enough for 8:45. Okay, maybe I share this analogy of bonsai. Truly inspired by Brother Joe's first understanding of Master's Dharma, the analogy of bonsai. When Brother Joe shared this, immediately it reminded me of this person. Few years ago, I received this wrong call. Supposed to make a call to Jingsi Kapong for donation. Somehow, not sure why it ended up at my place. But because of that wrong call, I had this affinity to get in touch with this person staying in Ipoh. Ipoh is a different state from Shillong, so it's further up. Since then, I would be daily sharing Jingsi aphorism with this person. There's this group of Jingsi aphorism that I'm sharing, almost 100 of them. Some includes my past refugees, some Ganenfu, they are no longer Ganenfu, ex-colleagues. All these I'll group them into this Jingsi aphorism, daily sharing of this Jingsi aphorism. And I also must confess, during this COVID, I have this challenge because we initially were getting donations for the protective garment for medical. It was much easier to seek because people, when they heard of donations for these frontliners, people will be donating easily. So I'm seeking from the same group of people. So later when we heard from our top there office that we have to, now it's time to seek for the refugee, I was started to having this issue because the day before, I received calls from my friends asking me, why is Tzu Chi helping these refugees? Don't you all know that they are, all those negative perceptions that we used to hear? So when I was asked, when we are the Sili Tzucha, we have to be the front line to push this, I started to have this thought. That day, this person from Ipoh, he called me and he asked me, sisters, why aren't Tzu Chi seeking donations for people in hunger? Imagine that. Then I told him, yes, brother, yes, we are doing it. In fact, the poster we are going to release it. Once I receive it, I will share with him. He was the first to encourage me, and of course later my mom. There were other 种种因缘. So with that, it encouraged me, and I started to ask for people for donations. There are a lot of touching stories, but today, because of time constraint, I wouldn't be sharing this. But what I wish to share is this: diligence is also part of it. Analogy of bonsai, it requires a diligence. Don't give up on any person. Every person is the potential affinity. Affinity will create the blessing. And today and yesterday, he asked me again. He did donate, not only him, he also encouraged his friends to donate. Yesterday, he reminded me again. He said, hey sister, do you all still have these donations? See, such the affinity that we don't give up on anyone. Anyone is our potential benefactor. So now, he is my benefactor. Okay, believing in the diligence, we can see in brothers Christopher and Xiao Peiqi. Both of them, definitely because of their great diligence in their past life, today when they appear as young bodhisattva, they could already be so inspiring. Garden, everyone. Okay, I'm not sure. There's this very good analogy by Sister Wanchin, but because of time constraint, okay, I think I definitely have to end this. Okay, maybe in other time we'll share this. So be very grateful for every day and wishing everyone with mind tranquil and clear and bow as fast as the universe, bodhisattva, all of everyone remain unwavering for countless kalpas. That's our Jingsi Dharma lineage. Infinite Dharma doors will appear readily in front of us whenever we have any challenges. May all of us have this infinite wisdom, infinite ways to solve all of it, and attaining wisdom and completely understands all Dharma. Garden, over to you, Brother Joe.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Sister SiewChing, for the wonderful sharing. I must admit, I think more than half of what you share, I think I missed due to bad connection. I'm on a train right now. But I didn't need to hear the whole thing. I see the last parts and the beginning parts. The middle parts, unfortunately, I couldn't make out. It was stuck without the connection. But that just goes to tell you that even if you want to be diligent, you need to have the good affinity to be able to listen to all of it. But there are a couple of things I wanted to share. First of all, I would rather continue to listen to what you had to share. Time is of the constraint, but only because we only set ourselves to only between 8 to 8:30. I think part of diligence is that while you didn't get to finish or while you didn't get to share today, you're continuing to make more stories. You're continuing to make encounters, cherish every moment so that you're able to make the best use, as you mentioned towards the end, where because you pick up that phone call, I think, and even if it was a wrong phone call, it ended up with so much more than what it was to be. And I think this is what Master was telling us that was that it's more important that you settle for today's realization. It's about diligence. Continue moving. And I had my question for Sister SiewChing was the first two stories you share. Obviously, the first one was the race between turtle and the rabbit, and then the second story you share was how improbable, how rare it is for Dharma, which also involves a turtle, even though it was a one-eyed blind turtle. So you wonder why. I wonder why is the story in the Buddha's world always talking about a turtle, or why do we use turtle in such a good way, to represent the good things, why it wasn't a salmon fish that, went through the hole and found the Dharma? Why was it a one-eyed blind turtle? And why was the rabbit versus the turtle and it was a turtle that won? What was it about turtle that really get people to feel that they want a turtle win? They rather turtle win. And they rather that the turtle was the one that found the Dharma. What was about it? And it was very obviously, it wasn't very high and assuming. It wasn't very flashy. It's always just slowly moving. Even the video clip that you showed us, it was just slowly moving. It wasn't doing any dancing movements. It was just slowly moving. Even though people were cheering, it was still slowly moving, pacing itself. And that makes me think about Master, right? Even though she couldn't walk very, steadily like us, but look at how many people could walk the way that she walked, in a way that it's more than a month and a half now. how many people had the stamina to be able to be like her, you know, to do all the things that she had to go through. Just like this afternoon, we just had a meeting with Master, and it was, for us, it was very, very long and arduous. But right after our meeting, she went to have another meeting, and I couldn't see any signs of tiredness. And so she wasn't walking the fastest, yet out of the month and a half, she was still the most diligent of all. And I wanted to comment on this realization is that you need to find the right direction. That is why I think putting the elimination of the 4 maras together with diligence is very important. You wouldn't want to go very fast or steadily in the direction that is wrong. So I think that's why they put the 2 together, to be able to go in a direction nonstop while making sure that that is the right direction. So I think that with this particular realization, it put these 2 together to make sure that while it is important to be diligent, it is more so important to find a direction. But once you find the right direction, then the rest is just keeping going forward. Okay, and I think that's what Sister SiewChing has done. And just like today, the Wednesday's online study group from Kaohsiung came back to share with Master, and she brought up many video clips of people doing translation, doing voiceover, and lo and behold, your team, our team here, the people that's probably right now on this group right now listening, are all probably in this group doing the voiceover translation. And Sister Mei Yun shared with Master that many of them just had to take a day off on Wednesday just to do this preparation and finally the translation. And what I heard, it was just amazing. You know, I heard all the people that had gone through it, all in the name of trying so hard, so more. And I think that is diligent. This is the right direction, and you're keeping going at it. You know, every day after morning Dharma talk, you stayed and you shared and you talk more and you discuss. That is diligence, and that is something that I look up to, that I find tremendous respect and tremendous admiration for, because I couldn't do that myself. I can't, and for that, I think you're all my teachers, and I'm really grateful that with all of you as my teachers, I am being whipped to make sure that I am diligent too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to catch up. So I appreciate what this group has done for me and to me, and I definitely look forward to learn more and follow all of your footsteps, because you are so diligent. That's something that I need to learn from. So thank you. I apologize if I don't sound very clear, because I'm still on the train, and hopefully I'll get to wherever I'm going soon. But it doesn't really diminish my tremendous respect for all of you. Thank you. And this is really coming from the bottom of my heart. I'm in such an awkward position. I'm leaning against the door on the train, and I'm almost near tearing up, because I just have tremendous appreciation, because I think we found each other, and I think this is how we get each other to be more diligent, because we all know that this is the right direction. So the next question is, how do we keep each other more diligent to work harder? And thank you. So tomorrow morning we have another one, and I just remember I couldn't stay with you from 8 to 8:30, because on Dai TV they began shooting on 8:30. So I had to tell them, you got to give me until 8 o'clock, but after that I gotta go. But this is, I think we must have all made the pact. Who knows how many lifetimes ago we made the pact to do this, and now we're separated on all these corners of the world, doing the very same thing, trying to propagate the Dharma to everywhere. And that's what binds us so closely together. Thank you all, And I think this is a very good topic for Sister SiewChing to share, and this is a very good topic for all of us here to hear, because you are all doing just that, and I need to learn from you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, Brother Joe is always our great benefactor and truly very humble. We will, yes, definitely, I'm sure we make this pact many lives and we keep doing it. That's why we have this live captions teams, and we have so many focus with us today, and we have all of them helping to promote Master's Dharma all across the place. We know that in Hong Kong, our sister Puiha, she's promoting in Cantonese. Our sisters in Sydney also doing it. US, everywhere across the world, and sometimes they share with me. I'm very grateful. They are really the benefactors. Indeed, affinities is very important. They said before attaining Buddhahood, we have to create affinities. And these affinities, brother, it reminded me also like the cloth for it to be very hard and firm. Each stitch has to be over another. Means after we form one affinity, we have to keep forming deeper and deeper layers. So this cloth will be very enduring life after life. The same goes to all of us. So we will definitely observe all of us make this have this pact, encourage each other. If anyone left behind, let us together pull that person and we move forward on this ship of compassion. Our masters as the captain, Kan. Okay, because brother, please stay safe when you are in the train. We look forward to seeing Brother Joe. We are very grateful to Brother Joe. Despite his hectic traveling, he still say okay to this. In fact, I was thinking to say, brother, it's okay, we can move it to next Friday. But and brother, you are truly the most diligent one. And of course, we know masters. 真的是, actually, I still pinches myself to sometimes I'll ask myself, is this true? Master is sharing to that extent? Because we know master condition then, and then today master still shouldering on. Chapter 21, 22, and now to 23. This is truly, we must truly cherish this. What master is doing for us. She's no longer using just her normal effort energy. It is using the life. So 我们的第一代弟子，我们真的是很 we are so grateful. Which master will wake up so early for us? Which master will do revision? Not only explaining the verses, have to relate it to daily life. And these daily stories, she master paved it over 50 years to get it out. Else, it is so difficult to penetrate into all this, to me, all these stubborn, sentient beings. So very kind and kind to all the brothers and sisters here for being so encouraging. Truly, because of each of you. Your encouragement, that's why we have today from listening from one center with Hua Lian. Today we have live captions, and we also have seen the Dharma flourishing in every corner of the places. 感恩，好，感恩 to everyone. Okay, any questions, brothers and sisters? Else, we will 感恩 brother Joe, always very grateful, truly very. 有吗？大家？ Our sister Sharon, very kind to Sister Sharon. She's one of the team in the translation side as well. Kaohsiung, and Sister Sharon is doing a great job in Sydney. And for sharing your progress with me, really, I'm very grateful. Actually, very grateful to all of you. You are the one who really keep encouraging me to walk on this path. 很感恩. Blessings because of all this affinity. Sister Sharon.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really good to be part of. Thank you so much, Sister SiewChing. 感恩
Sister Sharon. Very 感恩，真的是很感恩。我们真的是很有福报。Really, we are really like this one blind tortoise. Last life must have done a lot of good things. That's why we could have this plank and masters holding on to us, bringing us safe ashore. Not only that, also helping us to walk on this bodhisattva path. So we would look forward to
the opportunity given to us. You know, we must power seize the opportunity.
Yes. Truly power. If let's say we also ask ourselves, if truly one day, if there is emptiness, true emptiness, if master is no longer leading, will we have this wondrous existence? So we still, so that picture of that picture reminded me, if anything that happens that day, the one me and Sister Manchi were there, the YouTube was filled, voiceover was filled, but we were still doing it. It reminded me, whatever happened in future, must stay diligent and with great courage move forward. 感恩大家。Sorry, today I talk too much already. Okay, 好。 Okay, maybe
Yeah,
a
so far,
closure.
we are so close.
Yeah, we
You
are
know,
very close
so
at heart.
far away, yeah, close. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, almost 11
definitely.
o'clock.
Oh,